time. So Technology for Spoken English had 3 active moderators. It started 3 years ago with Sudarshana. A little bit about Sudarshana. I don't know if Sudhakar is here today.
He is.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so great. Grab the mics, both you and Sudarshana. A little bit about Sudhakar. They're both from Maharashtra, India. They're both primary school teachers in the same area. And they're both passionate learners and tag coordinators. Sudarshana, would you like to go on? A little bit about me.
Yes, thank you. Please, previous slide. Yes, Dr. Nellie Deutsch, she has taught EFL in K-12 and higher education for over 40 years and has applied CLL since 1992. She offers free online professional development programs on the LMS Moodle for teachers. She combines learners, autonomy team, peer-based learning with technology and mindfulness. She is co-chair-elect of TESOL called IS and leads EVO 23 coordination team. This year, she is lead coordinator. She currently the incoming co-chair of TESOL called IS and faculty at IMT. At first, she provided us or introduced this opportunity to me, and because of her only, I'm here with EVO team. So thank you so much, Dr. Nellie.
I would say that you're here because of you and not because of anybody else. It's your passion. So I'm really glad that you came up with this idea and that this was the 3rd year and looking forward to next year. Technology for Spoken English is about teachers helping their students use various apps, mostly smartphone apps, to practice and improve their spoken English so that they speak fluently and, of course, accurately. The idea is for teachers to help teachers, but it's to help students, but it's also for the teachers themselves. And that's what we found this year, that many teachers were very grateful, since they were not native speakers, to have this opportunity to also improve their spoken English, which was the original idea of this EVO session. They learn about various tools to practice and improve their spoken English. They also engage in lots of reflective practice as they explore and discover different ways of using technology. It's a very much hands-on session, 5 weeks session. You can go in as a guest. These slides will be available, and you can go in and take a look as a guest to what's there. The background, the platform is a Moodle learning management system, unlike the other 2 that were Canvas. 5 weeks, 24/7. And many of you mentioned the support that you provide and that the participants were very pleased with the prompt, as Nagla said, support. And that's exactly what they got. Because of the different time zones, we were able to cater to whatever they asked or their post, whatever they posted, 24/7 practically. We were all there at some point, and that's the asynchronous. As to the synchronous, we use Go Brunch this year as opposed to Zoom. And as Nagla and others mentioned, the live sessions were not as popular as the LMS, and which was unfortunate, because the ones that did come to the live meetings benefited. And there's something to meeting face-to-face and becoming more acquainted. I think it provides a closer bonding. We call it bonding because there were so few participants in the live meetings. Of course, the recordings were available, so that wasn't really a problem. But still, we would like to improve that next year. Yes, you want to go on? Sudhakar? I'm looking at whose turn it is. And I see it's still mine. Okay, still mine. Participants, by the end of the session, become familiar with the various web and mobile technologies that facilitate spoken English. They practice various technologies to enhance speaking skills as well as vocabulary, and they also reflect, as I mentioned. The strategies that we used was peer learning, where participants actually learn from one another as they explore the tools. It's discovery learning, where they discover and pass on the reflections to others. They review, explore, reflect, and implement. And some of them did this in their classes. They were able to use the tools with their students during the EVO session. I think that's wonderful in countries where schools are still open during January and February. At the end, they showcased and curated their work and reflected on the process. This is the week. Did I skip something? No. This is the week by week links. You can see some of these links are available. If you go in, you'll be able to click and go in as a guest. And you can see what we did in week 1. They introduced themselves with a Voki avatar, as well as with VoiceThread. They also learned about the layout of the course, of the session, of the various weeks and various parts of Moodle in the course. And they did that through a screen sharing video. They created their own videos showcasing that. And they learned, of course, from one another, because not one person has the same video, even though they show the same areas, but it's always a little bit different. And some always see different things. So it was interesting to see how they viewed the layout of the session. And then they reflected and they learned about the reflective practice on how to improve spoken English. In week 2, they used feedback tools to reflect. They discussed the importance of vocabulary and tools. They used Quizlet and created study sets, as well as played a Quizlet match form. So there was a little bit of fun and gamification, as well as practicing and discovering the new tools. Week 3 was more or less the same, except in week 3, they all enjoyed this, and I was very happy about it. Thomas Farrell, I know you're familiar with his work in Masters of TESOL. He has a podcast, and he talks about reflective practice for TESOL, for English language teachers. And then they also used the mic, which is called Poodle, in the course, where they were able to reflect using a microphone directly within the course. There was a mic there, and they could reflect using that instead of using text. So a little bit of variation from text responses to audio responses. And of course, they shared how they would implement the tools, and some how they actually implemented the tools during the session. Week 4, we focused on Toontastic. I don't know if you've used it, but it is fantastic. So Toontastic, which is now owned by Google, storyboard that for those who couldn't get Toontastic on their phones. Remember, we're using the smartphones for all of these. Storyboard that and read aloud. We also added a little bit of literature, introduction to poetry, as a way to practice listening and speaking, using Poodle, which is in the Moodle, within Moodle. Poodle read aloud, and then they reflected and provided their feedback on the tools, and again, the implementation of the tools. Week 5, as with all the EVO sessions, it's showcase and reflect. And so they reflected on the process, this time again with a Voki. So it wasn't just reflecting using text, but also another element of an avatar that you have to dress up. And then you either use your own voice, or you can add text and the avatar will speak your text. And then the course reflection, where we ask participants a bit about the course and how they feel about it, what they found useful, what they liked, what they didn't like, the challenges, and so on, by text. And then, of course, there's the feedback of TESOL EVO that we use for everyone. So these are some of the applications, just a little summary of the tools. Your turn? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
So
think
these
so.
are
Okay, I think there's another one. Okay, go ahead, Sudhakar.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are some applications used by us. These are tools to review and reflect. In week 1, we use Padlet to show their location on a map. Then VoiceThread and Woki, they used to give their introduction, and they really liked it. In week 2, they used Woki to reflect on the tools they have used in the week 2, and they played a study set, Quizlet study set, with the help of vocabulary apps. They created a vocabulary study set in that Quizlet study set. Then in week 3, they listen that Thomas Farrell's podcast and give answers of some questions on reflective practices. Then in week 4 is really interesting because it's a hands-on practice in Toontastic and Storyboard. We got very nice ideas and stories in this session in week 4. And then week 5, the screen recorders are there to showcase their whole session, and curation walls are also there to show their work. Then they reflected with the help of Woki. In this way, we used these different tools, and they really enjoyed these tools to reflect and review their work. Over to you, Sudarshana.
Yes, it's my turn. Hello, everyone. In our session, tools to review and implement, our participants have used various tools to review and implementation. They have explored many mobile apps like Awabi, Wheeling. You can see the logos in the slide. British Council app was there, Busu, Duolingo, Talk English. In this way, they near about 20 to 21 apps they have explored and used that apps for themselves and also for their students to improve their spoken English. And while exploring these apps, they give their feedback reviews by using the tools Kahoot, VoiceThread, Padlet, Oki. So they all have enjoyed these apps and tools and give their fantastic feedback to us. Next slide, over to you, Nellie, madam.
I think it's yours. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. So week 1, participants have used Padlet to show their location by using Padlet map. And for their introduction, they have used VoiceThread and Oki avatars, various Oki avatars, and fantastic. We moderators have enjoyed it a lot. In week 2, participants have explored various apps, mobile apps for their improvement of spoken English. They have explored and some exercises they have done and give their reflection. They also use these apps from week 2 and week 3 for their students. They have also used VoiceThread also for their students and give fantastic feedback to us because these all apps are useful for their students also. And week 4, our participants have created stories by using Toontastic and Storyboard that they have enjoyed the read aloud also to improve their reading.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sudarshana and Sudhakar. There were less than last year, we had 200, but this year we had 178 participants from 37 countries. And I think that's amazing. And you can see the countries in the chart in front of you. And if your country is missing and you'd like to join us, you're welcome to join next year. Of course, next year we're going to use different tools. We're not going to use the same tools so that even if you've taken technology for spoken English. It'll be different next year. 11 participants out of 178 completed all the activities. Of course, there were lots who completed partially, but like this one, 94%, which is, even though you try to encourage them, please finish, you give them a little more time, please finish. But nonetheless, you can see that one participant only has 94. This is an activity completion progress bar that students and teachers can see. The moderators or teachers can actually click on whatever is missing, and there's a platform where they can send the participant an email asking them to please complete it. So it's great. It's a progress bar for both students and teachers. I think Sudhakar.
Right. Yeah. So friends, this is Hoki Avatars. Reflecting with a Hoki avatar is really a fun way to learn, because in this session we got very nice ideas from our participants. You can see different avatars here, and they also give reasons for choosing these avatars in their reflections, and they reflected very nicely. We had very nice ear practice also, listening practice also, because we are elementary learners. Both Sudarshana ma'am and I are elementary learners, and we also learned a lot from these participants. You can see there are different types of Hoki avatars they have chosen here, and they give very nice reflection and introduction from different countries. Actually, in our first few weeks, we have participants, more than 30 participants, active participants in our first few weeks. So it was very nice for us to learn from these participants. Next. We got very nice feedback from our participants. You can see one of our participants said that this course is very interesting. We can learn about many different tools and techniques that you might or may not know. And in my case, as an example, I can say that I didn't know many of the tools that I learned in this course. I am so grateful and excited because I learned so many tools to use with my students, and not only useful for them, but also for me. Because as a teacher, we must actualize ourselves as much as we could. We cannot continue teaching in the same way as many years ago. So we have to be ready to help the students learn in an easy, creative, and fun way. Make them want to learn. I truly enjoy all the activities, and I am very sure my students and also my partners will love to learn them and use them too. So friends, last year in pandemic, we learned that we need to develop ourselves, and we need to keep ourselves updated for any situation. So next feedback we got that some of the highlights of this course for me are the new applications that I haven't used before, because now I feel more equipped and ready for the classroom. For example, VoiceThread, Wookie, Storyboard, and so on. Another highlight for me was the talk by Thomas Farrell, because I really enjoyed this podcast and it was very inspiring for me. It was not only inspiring for her, but for us also. Highlights in this session, I will say podcast on Dr. Thomas Farrell's ideas on reflective practice, storyboards, or Toontastic, and Quizlet study set. Of course, the final review showcase on the curation wall is also great. So these type of feedbacks we got from our participants. Over to you, Sudarshana ma'am.
Yes, I also love to share the feedbacks from our participants in their own words. As this is the feedback from one of our participants. She said that although I like all the tools used to improve and practice speaking, my personal highlight was the Toontastic app, which amazes me, and I plan to use it in my classroom. Also, the second place goes to Read Aloud, which is a great app for practicing listening to the speaker, getting alongside the speaker, and actually speaking yourself. Wow, fantastic. Reflection is must do. Reflective journal is a good idea. There are many tools to develop and implement tasks in the classroom. We mustn't be afraid of trying out new things. We learn from each other. Self-learning is a key to success and professional development. I love this feedback very much. One more feedback we have from a participant. She said that as many students are not much confident at the lesson and can't overcome the barrier and start to speak English fluently and accurately, I decided that technology can help me motivate and engage them. And here my get fulfilled for this session, because at the time of developing this session, my view was that in our India, we are very teachers and various students are very shy and feel less confident to speak in English. That's why I have worked on this session, and I'm very happy that it get fulfilled through this feedback. Students pretend that they can use an app, though according to my experience, they need much time to master it. I try to stay up to date on the latest educational software, so this course would meet my expectations, including me also. During 5 weeks, I had an opportunity to try out different tools to practice and improve spoken English with fluency and accuracy. I signed up for free accounts and fulfilled the tasks of the course. I tried out some mobile technologies that can help learners practice speaking skills. The structure of the course is clear. The navigation on the platform is easy. So one more feedback we have.
Sudarshana and Nellie and Sudhakar, we are out of time with the
Okay.
presentation.
Okay, so we're just
questions.
going to go on just a couple of seconds just to go through. These were some of the slides that they could choose from for their curation. These are the curation boards they could choose, and these are the video screen recorders. Now for questions.
I have a comment to make. Sudarshana, when you first proposed this session on technology for spoken English, I thought, yes, this is exactly what is needed. I was so pleased, and then with Nellie's and Sudhakar's help, it's become a great session, because teaching speaking is not easy. Another area that is notoriously difficult to teach is listening. So I was really pleased, and I'm glad to see the outcome of this. This is fantastic what you guys did.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions in the chat? I didn't check.
No, and there are no questions in the chat. I would just like to add that it's really impressive to see how many brilliant different applications you have used, and how you combined a reflection and a playful atmosphere that these applications give to the session.
Yep. The idea is to have fun, right? That's what it's about.
But not only fun, but a lot of learning, a lot of application of language, and a lot of reflection on the learning. So brilliant.
Thank you.
Well, here's a question then. What are you planning to do next year? Nellie, you mentioned that there would be different ones. I know new tools come along all the time. So
Exactly.
we'll be using the tools, but pretty much, using the tool in order to improve your own speaking and fluency, and different ways of doing it.
Yep. Stay tuned for next year.
Plus, there is a question in the chat. Is there a way to get a list of tools?
Yes, of course. You can have the this presentation. You can go into it as a guest. You can still go in as a guest for another couple of months and view it before we get ready for next year. So hopefully you'll get a glimpse, and you'll get the list. It's right there. Anybody can take a look at it. And we'll share these presentations in our, in one of our, maybe Doris, you're good with sharing this. There is a conference, Google Doc. I'll share it later on that you can use, and we'll add all the presentations there.
Okay, thank you, Nellie.
Eventually. Plus, we'll put it on YouTube.
Okay.
where the recordings will be. All right, so thank you, everyone. I think our time is up and we'll get ready for the next
Thank you.
session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.